Imagine a rom-com that actually has some depth to it.
What's up, everybody? So, this is my review of a film called Evidencias do Amor, or in English, Traces of Love. It's a Brazilian movie starring Fabio Porchat and Sandy Leia, and it's one of those romantic comedies. It came across my radar randomly by my mother-in-law, and I decided, hey, let me watch it. I like to just kind of take a chance every now and again, right? And the premise of it is really interesting. It feels like it's been done before in other movies that I've seen, especially Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but in a way less complicated way. The premise is these two people, this couple, they meet at a party and they bond over this karaoke song that they sing together. They begin their courtship, they have a relationship. He eventually proposes to her, and at the last minute during the wedding planning phase, she abruptly breaks up with him. He just cannot deal with it, and it's a difficult time for him because he doesn't understand why she left, and no explanation makes any sense to him. Some time goes by, and the song that they sang on the night that they met starts playing at some point, and he somehow gets transported back to a memory of their relationship at some point. And then when the song finishes playing, he comes back to present day. And this happens to him over and over and over again. Whether he's listening to the song for 10 seconds or a couple of minutes, he is transported directly back into the memory. And it's usually a bad memory. Some experience that where they had an argument and it doesn't go well for them. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he's not understanding why. And a huge chunk of the movie is him trying to figure out what exactly is going on and how he can prevent it, which, as you can see in the picture behind me, he's wearing noise canceling earphones. And so eventually he kind of adopts that as a way to never listen to the song because it's a hugely popular song here in Brazil. Every Brazilian knows this song called Evidencias. And at some point, he decides to track her down and tell her what's been happening to him, and tries to basically get back together with her. And as he's explaining to her what is happening to him, she says, the same thing is happening to me. Only in her case, it's the opposite, where every time she hears a song, she goes to a good memory of them. And so there's a lot of, the different sides of the same coin. Their stories actually blend together because they both have things to learn within the memories that they are transported to. And it's one of those movies that I think I wish Hollywood would redo this movie in an American way. That's one of the things I just kept thinking about over and over again after watching this movie is how would this movie translate to an American audience? Because there's a lot of the humor that is culturally relevant to Brazil. The music, of course, the soundtrack is very, very Brazilian music. And I just kept thinking, how would this go? Like, who would be the main actors? That's kind of one of the main things that I kept thinking about. And what is the musical setting that they would use? But we can get to that at a different time. I could make a video about that as well. But I think the thing that I alluded to in the introduction to this video is it actually has depth to it. Because yes, it has the conventions of humor and misunderstandings, and some gags here and there. He has a great chemistry with his assistant in the movie, and they play off of each other great, and it's really, really funny. Even though you might not speak Portuguese, even just by seeing how they're acting together, reading the subtitles, and kind of piecing the two together, you get it. And it's a lot of fun and it's light. But as far as what the movie has to say about relationships and why a lot of relationships end. I think that's something that too many times, especially American rom-coms, don't go to. They just stick with the comedy aspect of it, and they just kind of barely pass on the relationship aspect of it. And this movie really goes deep into what are the inner workings of a relationship and why it goes wrong, and if it's able to be fixed, what adjustments have to be made by both people for that to happen. And I think it's like unexplored territory as far as story is concerned in the rom-com genre. Um, but if you can still find it, I found it on HBO Max. I think you can find it on Prime. Check it out. If you like foreign movies, read the subtitles. You'll have a great time. And it's one of those rom-coms that doesn't feel airbrushed or sugar-coated. Yes, it is funny. There is romance in it, and it has a little bit more than that as well from a storytelling aspect. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think about in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.